Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Adobe Live. My name is Terry White, Worldwide Design and Photography Evangelist for Adobe. It's my pleasure to be streaming to you live today, although today is a solemn day that we are having mixed feelings about because technically it is Blackout Tuesday, and I would say that it's not a great feeling streaming live, but I didn't want to stop this particular stream right before it started, so with that said, we don't know what the rest of the day will look like in terms of streaming, but we're going to go ahead and go through it just for now. Our thoughts are with everyone and everything that you're going through. You can chime in and let us know how you're feeling today. I have, like I said, a lot of mixed feelings about everything going on and what's going on today, and it's going to be kind of hard to stay focused. So thankfully, Victoria is going to be doing all the work today. And I can just kind of monitor the chat and answer questions as best we can. So welcome. If you're watching this on the replay, thanks for watching the replay. If you're watching this on YouTube, head over to b.net/Adobe Live, where we will be answering and questions and paying attention to the chat. But let's just start with a quick check-in. I see a bunch of regulars here. This is, I see Sean, Steve, of course, Tim, Eric, Aiden, Victor. Welcome everyone. Let us know, what's going on in your world today. There's a lot going on in the world, period. But we just want to do a quick check with the people that are here, and just to let us know, what you're feeling, and we can kind of, sympathize with you and sympathize with each other, because we are all in this together. So while we're waiting for you guys to kind of jump in, Victoria, yesterday we did vector drawing in Illustrator. She did some cartoon characters, some of my favorite cartoon characters. So we are going to continue today with a painting, actually, in Adobe Fresco on the iPad. So Victoria is very competent in doing both vector and raster. So we've been doing this kind of series, getting started with vector, getting started with raster, and we're going to continue that today with the raster part of it. Hey, Renee, we know what you mean by not feeling the greatest, but we love you too. It's nice to have creativity. Yep, and that's kind of one of my reasons, Tim, for wanting to continue this, is just trying to keep the positivity going as well, in the midst of all the negativity that's going on out in the world today. Sean, glad you enjoyed the stream yesterday, and let's just not, I'll keep that part going, but let's just jump into it. I'm not even going to bring up the schedule because, again, I don't know if we're going to keep that schedule today. But if we do, just remember you can stay live here on Adobe Live with us throughout the day if we continue to stream. If not, you'll understand, and we'll be back at another time. All right, so with that said, let's talk about what you're going to do today. So, Victoria, yesterday you started with a sketch that you actually did in Fresco.
Yes.
And then you kind of drew over it in Adobe Illustrator.
Yes.
And it looks like you've got a sketch ready to go today as well. So
yes,
you're
I do.
You're on your iPad Pro. We can
Yes.
kind of see it, and you're kind of cut off here. Let me actually move you over a bit. No, that's not you. I think that's me.
Yeah,
Let
okay.
me move you over. There you go. All right, let's get you over there. There we go. Cool. And you got your iPad Pro.
Yes.
You got Adobe Fresco open.
Yes,
And I see some familiar characters, Aladdin and some others.
Jasmine and Beautiful Monkey and Aladdin. So guys, today we will continue talking about our favorite characters. And Aladdin, I pronounced right?
Aladdin.
Aladdin.
That's the Russian pronunciation.
Yes, Aladdin cartoon is one of my favorite, mine and my daughter. So I decided to work on these beautiful characters today, but we will implement part of anime painting into our Disney painting.
And Victor, yeah, that painting that we saw a minute ago behind her, one that she did actually in Photoshop.
It's not actually painting and photo manipulation.
No, compositing in Photoshop. So that is more Victoria's work.
By the way, guys, I uploaded this sketch to my Patreon. You don't have to pay to anything. Just go to my Patreon. It's this post available for a public. Download the sketch and you can draw with me, along with me, or you can download it and paint later on.
And I'm going to post the link to that sketch right now in the chat.
Thank you.
Another reason, YouTubers, you want to head over to behance.net or b.net/Adobe Live so that you can download the sketch as well. Sketch starter.
Yes, so you can download the sketch and it's a JPEG file. And what I'm using right now, I'm using same file you will be using if you will download this sketch. So what I did, I opened my Fresco and I brought my a sketch from my camera roll. By default, when you create any document in Adobe Fresco, Fresco creates two layers. One, let me hide my top layer. First layer will be your simple background layer, and top layer will be an empty layer. No information, no pixel data, no color data, no nothing. You will need to click on image icon, click on photos, and you will be able to download this sketch from your camera roll.
All right, and before we even go into that, so let's start off with, first of all, Adobe Fresco is a free download on the iOS App Store, and it's available on various Windows pen computing platforms like Wacom Mobile Studio Pro. I believe it's available on the Surface. It's available on different platforms on Windows that allow you to use a pen. I downloaded it on an HP, for example, a new HP laptop that I got that's got a pen display built in, and Fresco was available. So if you're on a desktop computer, Windows computer, go to the Creative Cloud app, and it'll either tell you can download Fresco or you can't because it looks at the hardware you're using. Or if you're on an iPad, you can, of course, just go to the App Store and download it from the App Store. Okay, sorry.
Yes.
Continue.
No problem.
And good morning, Mansa.
Good morning.
Mansa, and yep, Anthony, Aladdin is awesome.
So when you will click on photos, you will be able to bring my sketch from your camera roll, and it will be your third layer. Now you can delete your second layer, original second layer in Adobe Fresco, or you can keep it for later on. I will keep it for later on because when I will finish painting my characters, I will use this layer for my background. So what I will do, I will click on my sketch layer and I will create a new empty layer just like this. You can use your own colors, or you can use the colors you picked from any original image, or even you can create colors using Adobe Capture. It's up to you guys. Today I will be using only all features, default Fresco features. So what I will do, I will click on I will tap on.
There's no mouse. There actually is a mouse now on the iPad operating system. So technically it could be a click. I stand corrected. Never mind.
I will tap on a color icon and I will reposition my color wheel palette next to my toolbar because I mentioned it before. It's easier for me to access to my color palette at any time, even if I can specify double tap on my Apple Pencil and I can apply different function for that. But when I double tap on my Apple Pencil, I'm zooming in my document for 200%. It's easier for me. So today also we will be talking about latest update for Adobe Fresco. It's amazing update. I love this update a lot. So I have highlighted my top layer. As you can see, no information, no nothing. What I will do, I will zoom in my document for a better preview. And guys, we have a lot, literally a lot of default Fresco brushes. Just look at it, from a basic tab to sketching. All default Fresco brushes. You can use any brush you like, and if you have a good eye, you can see that we have a new family, new library. We have mixer brushes. Yes, I love.
Yeah, I think you're a slight fan of the mixer brush tool.
I'm a huge fan of mixer brush tool.
Like, I think that's your favorite tool in Photoshop.
Yes. I would like to point out a mixer brush in Fresco behaves differently than in Photoshop. In Photoshop, we can use our base layer to paint using only the mixer brush tool, and I and Terry streamed about this last week. In SketchUp, I prefer to use mixer brush to mix my colors. So this is differences. These are all small differences. But if you will click on mixer brush tool, you can see we have a lot of different mixer brushes. So
we have a couple shout outs here. So Tiffany, welcome Tiffany. Tiffany's in the house watching you. And Julia's in the house as well. And let's see, Victor, I think I saw Victor earlier, and Eric. Welcome, everyone.
So, you can start working on your project using even a basic brushes, and my favorite, one of my favorite brushes is soft round opacity brush, or you can use oil brush. If you will click on a second set of our brushes, you will expand a library with two folders. A top folder is a watercolor brushes, and bottom folder is oil brushes. And we have now we have one of my favorite brushes, oil brushes, oil paint short brush. Today I will be using this brush. So I will click on this brush, just like this, and as you notice, as I added previously this brush to my favorites, because you can see this brush brush name highlighted in blue color. Also, this brush has a blue star next to it. Now let's talk about color. We will work on Jasmine. She has a dark skin tone. I will use this skin color for her skin. If it will be dark or lighter than I want, I can adjust it later on. Also, when I specify color, I can specify opacity of my brush flow. You can specify a flow value from 0 to 100. It's up to you. I will start with 100 for now, and I will zoom in my document just like that. Again, guys, you can switch, you can increase or decrease size of your brush at any time. So what I'm doing, I'm applying first layer of color.
And what kind of, it looks like an oil paint?
Yes, it's oil paint short. Yes.
And so that's not, so unlike like filling an object in Illustrator, this will definitely let you paint outside the line. So this you do have to be careful.
Yes, I can select my example.
You make a selection first.
Yes,
right, okay.
And paint, but I prefer to experience a real painting feeling, so I prefer to paint it.
I always have loved the way the watercolors and oil paints look inside Fresco. They just look so real.
Yes, they're real. And when I will switch right now a color of my brush to a lighter shade, you will see how Fresco will blend all colors in perfect way. So what I'm doing right now, I'm trying to outline Jasmine shoulders, neck, face. Of course, guys, you can bring size of your brush down.
And if you just look at when she zoomed in, you look at the texture of the paint. It looks like real paint that would be not flat. So it's got like that depth to it.
Yes.
Which is just amazing to see that in a digital world.
Absolutely. Because when you use oil brush in traditional painting, if you never use, just do it. You will see that oil paint has texture, same like Terry just mentioned it. We have same texture in Fresco. And guys, you can adjust your brush in a way you like. You can even adjust value for paint mix, and you can adjust setting for your brush. Be honest with you, again, I mentioned it before, I love Kyle Webster's original brush setting, and I'm very rare adjusting my setting. I adjust my setting definitely, but example, I can just adjust transparency, nothing else.
Now, I know this question usually comes up when you're using the Apple Pencil or when you're showing Fresco. What if I just have an iPad and that one that doesn't support an Apple Pencil? Can I use my finger?
You can, if you want to torture yourself.
Okay, so the answer is technically yes, but it wouldn't be the best experience. Let's just put it that way.
No, absolutely, because Apple Pencil has amazing pressure sensitivity, and I always saying pressure sensitivity is our friend. Using different pressure sensitivity, you can create different texture, you can create different style of your painting. You have full control over your painting. Over your brush stroke, I will say, if you have if you will use Apple Pencil. So this is her
and that's the reason why Fresco just isn't widely available on like Mac and Windows or other platforms, because they really want you to use it with a pen. So iPad Pro with Apple Pencil, or Windows-based pen-based computers. That's why those are the primary uses for Fresco. Now, that's not to say that you won't see it on other platforms where you maybe attach a Wacom tablet externally, or a Cintiq or something like that. But that's why it started out as on the platforms that were already 100% pen-based.
Yes. And if you notice, I switch color of my brush to a lighter shade of same color I used for her skin. And what I'm doing right now, I will increase size of my brush, and I will just create all highlights over her face. And as you notice, guys, I'm just I will tap on my screen on my document. I will create short brush strokes. I will release my hand, and now I will blend colors together. And guys, Fresco again does everything for me. I'm not switching to another tool. I'm doing nothing. I can switch to the mixer brush tool, but we will talk about this later on. So what I'm basically doing, I'm applying highlights over our Jasmine face, just like that. And again, if you think you made mistake, simply switch shade of your switch color of your brush to previously color you used, and you can fix everything in case if you think you made a mistake or you applied more highlights than you intended. So
Victor, that's an interesting comment. I'm not a painter, so let's explore that for a second. So Victor says, nice, she paints like an oil paint artist, not touching the screen. Like, I explain that. I don't know what that means. Either one of you. Victoria, what does that mean by not touching the screen?
I don't know.
Okay, so yeah, what do you mean by that? Because that's an interesting compliment.
Yes.
I'm not sure what that implies.
In traditional painting, you're right. I love oil painting. Oil painting and watercolors mediums are my favorite.
Like Bob Ross, okay.
Thank you.
That's a huge compliment, yes.
Thank you so much. I love Bob Ross. I have his bullhead?
His wig.
No, and also this
bobblehead.
Yes.
Yeah. So she paints next to Bob Ross every day.
Yes, I love him. He's absolutely amazing human being and amazing artist. Just like that. As you notice, now we have her highlights. And I will rotate my canvas. Why? Because it's easier for me. If you prefer, and I know many professional artists are saying that you should not rotate your canvas, and I never do this in a traditional painting. But why? Why, if I can make my life easier, if I can create a smoother line just simply rotating my canvas, and Fresco team gave me this ability, why not?
That's interesting. It's a feature I actually often forget about in Photoshop. So, Photoshop years ago added the ability to rotate your canvas. Now, I don't mean like rotate the actual artboard or whatever. I mean just literally turn the canvas so you can draw or paint or work at an angle. It's not changing the canvas itself, but it's rotating the interface so that you can draw that way. So
Yeah.
the next time you're saying, well, it's hard to draw this way, but you'd rather draw this way or paint this way, remember that even in Photoshop, you can rotate your drawing experience any one of 360 degrees.
Absolutely.
And it does not, again, does not affect the artboard itself or the canvas itself.
No, and if you would like to blend color in more a smoother way, just zoom out your document, increase size of your brush, just like that, and you will be able to smooth all colors in more elegant way, I would say. Just like that. Now what I will do, I would like to add a few shadows under her face and neck. If you notice, Fresco remembers all colors I used in current document, so I will click on my first color I used in my painting. I will use darker shade of same color. I will bring size of my brush down, zoom in my document, and I will add a few highlights under her chin, just like that. And again, I will blend everything just in a second. Look at this texture, guys. Look at this. So I'm applying short brush stroke and I'm releasing my hand, and I blend all colors together, just like that. Be careful when you work. Come close to subject edges. Borders just make size of your brush smaller.
Sean saying, how long till the oil dries?
About 30 days.
All right, so I'm just going to quickly switch over. I just wanted to show you this. So here I am in Photoshop on my computer, and I couldn't remember what the tool was called, but it's called the Rotate View tool. It's the letter R in Photoshop. And again, it just lets you rotate your view. This isn't turning this isn't altering the rotation of the canvas, is just altering your view. So if you need to paint at an angle like she's doing in Fresco, you could do the same thing in Photoshop, and I often forget that that feature's there until I do it by accident, like on a Cintiq or a touch display.
It's a great feature. So what I'm doing right now, I'm just applying a little more shadows.
So Sean's asking, do you lock the layer to stop the blending? Like, did that, like, no, I did not paint that. Not at all. That's a stock photo. I wish. That is a photograph that I did not take. So no, I can't take any credit for that at all.
No, usually in watercolor painting in Fresco and in traditional painting, I prefer to have loose painting. So I love kind of a watercolor, bleeding style and everything. I'm not freezing my watercolors, but if you prefer more realistically looking watercolor painting, definitely you can do it as well.
And good tip, Victor. Yeah, you can hold down the shift key to snap to specific angles, like 90 degrees, 45 degrees, things like that. So, so that it's not just willy nilly. But a lot of times you are rotating to get it to a specific, like whatever. It's not in other words, not an exact or predefined angle. But it's great to have the option.
Absolutely. So now I'm working.
If you've ever seen me paint, you wouldn't have believed me. So if I would have tried to play that off, oh yeah, I painted that yesterday. No,
no, he can't paint.
I can't paint that. I could, I can paint walls. That's about it.
Okay.
Yep, same here. I always rotate by mistake. What's the shortcut to set it back to normal view? If you rotate it by mistake, hang on, let me check. Double click the rotation tool. That will put it back to normal. So if you just double click it on the tool panel, that will put it back to the normal view.
So a little bit more shadows around her arms. Just like that, because remember guys?
Oh, I see the highlights coming through.
Yes, shadows and highlights are always next to each other. Just like this. And now I will blend. If I would like to blend in a more elegant way, I will increase size of my brush, and I will not press hard on my Apple Pencil, just to blend all colors, create beautiful color harmony, just like that. And same I will do here, just like that, just very light touches on the canvas. Just like that. Now guys, if you will ask me, you cannot clearly preview her facial details anymore because I painted over my sketch layer. Simply highlight your sketch layer, create a duplicate, and move this layer on top of all layers. And like in Illustrator, you can bring opacity of your layer almost down, and you can preview her face more clearly. Now I will highlight my jasmine layer. I will zoom in. Remember guys, we said I said that we will be implementing a little bit more anime style of painting into our Disney painting today. So if you notice, I painted her eye in more anime way.
Yes, I did get slacked, so I just muted the audio. Good call. Wow, you guys are really know the sounds and everything.
So what I will do,
It even took me a second. What is that? Oh, it must be slack.
I will bring size of my brush down, and I will I did it more than I wanted, so I will undo it. I will bring opacity of my brush down, and I will add a few shadows around her nose, and I will blend everything together. Again, I'm looking periodically on my right because there I have my reference image. If you want, you can go Google it and you will see my reference image. So what I'm doing, I'm working on adding a little bit more details to Jasmine's face. And again guys, we are working on cartoon. You can create your cartoon character in less or more details. It's up to you. No rules in here.
Okay, so the thing I've noticed is that in Illustrator, you're working with a lot of layers for just about every piece of the illustration. When do you decide to make layers in Fresco?
In Fresco, I decide to make different layers, and if I'm working on very busy project, I have a lot of details, because as in any other Adobe application, we have ability to restock our layers, rename our layers, merge our layers, create folders with our layers. With this particular image, I don't want to create extra layers because I want to blend all colors together. I found in my own on my own experience, I can confirm it. It's my own experience when I'm creating a new layer. Example, if I would like to add highlights to her cheeks, and I will create a new layer with highlights, I cannot blend all colors in the way I like. So to blend all colors in the way I like, I prefer to work on one layer. But again guys, it's up to you. What I will do right now, I will switch color of my brush to white, and to have pure white color, simply click on a white icon in your color wheel. If you would like to switch to pure black color, simply click on a black color. So I will switch to white color. I will bring size of my brush down just like that, and I will start working on her eyes. And again, guys, we are combining traditional Disney character with anime character. So we will combine two techniques together today. Just like that. And yes, you can duplicate. Example, if she will face look straight in our way, we can duplicate one eye to create another eye. But here, as you can see, I can't do it, and maybe it's my traditional painter experience talks, but I prefer to paint each eye separately because everyone has different eyes. Just like this. Did you notice, guys? It's
now, is that eye color on a different layer or same layer?
A same layer, because I would like to blend all colors together.
Okay.
But if you would like to use different different layers for different parts of your image, and you will not blend, you don't need to blend these colors together. Just use separate layers.
Okay, so just a quick housekeeping for those of you who joined us recently. So Victoria Pavlov here is working on a sketch in Adobe Fresco. And Fresco is a free app available on iOS and various Windows pin display platforms. And I'm going to once again post the link to her sketch that she started with in the chat. So that if you wanted to play along, you can. And if you do it later, she would probably love to see what your results were if you tag her on your social media post for the sketch itself.
Absolutely. I always happy to see what you create after my streams or my tutorials, because guys, it's exciting. I love seeing your creations.
So Noor, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, asks, you always start with the shadows and then afterwards add the highlights, or?
No, depends of example. In her face, highlights are dominating, so definitely after I applied her base skin color, I will apply highlights, and after that I will apply shadows, because highlights are dominating in this painting. So, but I'm always coming back 1,000 times later on.
The blending in Fresco is different from Photoshop, mixing layers. It's really simulating paint, and that is a lot of people always ask, well, why do this as a separate app instead of just doing it in Photoshop? And it's because this app was built from the ground up for what it does: vector and raster painting.
This app is amazing, guys. I love Photoshop. Guys, my hashtag as a Photoshop artist, but I'm extremely in love with Fresco. I'm using Fresco every single day. I love Fresco. Both applications, Photoshop and Fresco, you can use in your painting workflow, but they are different. So what I'm doing right now, I'm working on her eyes, and now I would like to add highlights to her eyes. So I will switch to white color, and I will add a few highlights to her eyes. And again, I will blend edges of highlights together just to make more realistic looking highlight. And same here.
So Christy's asking some feature that Victoria uses all the time, and the question is there a paint animation feature in Fresco to capture your process while you're painting?
Yes, it's time lapse.
Called time lapse, and yes, it's built in.
Yes, it's built in.
Now, do you have, this is a question because I don't know, I haven't used it. Is this something you have to think to turn on first,
No.
or it's just
No.
remembering everything you're doing no matter what?
Yes, it's automatically turned on. It's recording everything you do in a Fresco. And example, if you will start your painting example, I started my painting right now, and I will stop my painting. I will pause my painting, and I will go to do something, and I will come back later on. Fresco will stop recording my process until I will be back, and I will continue working on my project.
So that's a very cool feature, is that because a lot of times what would happen if I were using this and doing it, I would forget to turn that on, and it's like, oh man, I'm 10 minutes or 15 or 30 minutes into it and I forgot to start the time lapse. So it's great that Fresco just knows you started painting, and even if you stop, pause, go get lunch, whatever, come back and keep going, the whole process is exportable as a time lapse video.
Yes, when you release your Apple Pencil, when you're not touching your screen, Fresco is not recording. That's it.
Yeah, unfortunately, Victor, time lapse is not a feature of Photoshop Desktop. It would be cool if
I
it
wish.
worked. Yeah. So in that case, you'd have to use screen recording software to do it.
And this is what I do.
And you'd have to remember to turn it on before you start.
Absolutely. So as you notice, I painted her eyes in anime way because I'm repeating myself, but we are combining two techniques today just to make this stream more interesting, guys. I hope you like it. And just one brush stroke here and another here, just like that. Now look at our Jasmine, so cute.
I love it. Eyes.
Thank you. Now we will start working on her eyebrows. It's very simple. Increase size of your brush and just paint her eyebrows just like that. And guys, you can switch between different brushes. It's up to you. I'm in love with this brush, so I use this brush from start to finish. Yeah, again, if I started working on my project using this brush, I will not change this brush because I want all colors mixed together in a way I like.
So that's a good question, Jeremy. Will we get clipping masks soon? Well, I can never say yes or no. Even if I know the answer, I still can't say yes or no. All we can do is like just continuing to put those kinds of things as feedback to the team of feature requests that you'd want. So whenever you say, will Adobe ever, or will this product ever, can it get, I can never say yes or no. I can never confirm or deny because we don't announce things that haven't been announced. We don't talk about features that haven't been announced yet. But would it be something nice to have? Sure.
And again, talking about highlights, I came back to her face and I saw that I missed few very important highlights. So now I fixed it. Now again, because we are talking about anime, I will switch to black color and I will add nose to her face. If I will paint original this character in original way, I will create a different face, different eye, different nose, different mouth, but we are working differently today. Just like that. So I will leave her eyes alone. If I will need to add something, I will do it later on. And what I will do right now, I will switch back to black color and I will start working on her mouth. And again, I'm painting her mouth in anime way. Just like this. I will switch to she wears a dark brown lipstick, so I'm switching to dark brown color and I will add lipstick to her mouth, just like that.
Love it.
Thank you. And if you notice, guys, because Fresco blends all colors together for you, we have different shades of apply created by each brush stroke. Look at her, how cute she is. Now I will start working on her hair. What I will do, I will switch to black color, but you know me, I never use black, pure black color, so I will use darker shade of
Now the music is in my head from Aladdin Forever.
And I will start working on her hair, and again I will paint her hair in anime style, just like that.
Every time I see you work with oil paints or watercolors, it just makes me want to play.
Yes, and you should.
Again, not from maybe not even from an artistic standpoint, just from a technology standpoint, to just see what that stuff does on the canvas and how, the texture and how it looks so cool.
It's like a painting therapy. It's relaxing.
And Mensa, I have had that thought in my head of like doing a stream maybe one day where we have two artists, we give them the same sketch or the same whatever, and we see them do it side by side. They're not looking at each other, but they basically come up with their own version of it, and we watch them do it side by side. I think that would be a cool stream to do.
You want to torture us, right?
No, again, you're just doing what, like, in other words, someone else will be doing Aladdin while you're doing it. So yeah. You're not paying attention to that person. They're not paying attention to you. They both come up with their own concept, their own colors, their own techniques.
That's
It'll be kind of fun to watch that.
Definitely, I'm interested.
Not chaos. I think it would just, well, the talking would be chaos, but the actual drawing process would be interesting. Or have two people do the same thing and then play back both time lapses simultaneously.
Yeah.
To see how they both arrived at the end results.
Because each artist has his or her own different method, different style.
Yep, everybody has a different style, exactly. So 2 time lapse of the same thing put together. I think that would be pretty cool.
Yep.
That way you don't have to worry about the talking. You just see the process.
Yep, absolutely. I'm in.
In-app, same canvas. Yeah, that would be chaos. It's like 2 steering wheels in the same car. Yeah, it probably doesn't work out too well.
Just like this. And her hair. What I will do, I will use darker shade of same color. I will increase size of my brush, and I will add a few brush stroke of shade, just like that. Guys, many of you asked me many times that how you can draw a hair, because you think to draw hair is more difficult than anything else. Yes, it's more difficult because hair has a lot of texture and highlight and shadows. My advice to you, start experimenting with anime hair, because anime hair has a very simple structure, and when you will be more comfortable with it, you can start working on any other painting technique, and in that case you will be more comfortable working on hair painting. What I'm doing, I'm blending colors. Look at this. I'm not pressing my pencil very hard. I'm pressing my pencil when I want to apply a darker shade of my color, and after that I'm touching my screen very light to blend colors.
And that in and of itself is the main reason why we're always saying use a tablet, use a Wacom, use something with pressure sensitivity.
Absolutely.
Because you control the amount of flow by how hard you're pressing down.
Absolutely.
And you just don't get that with a mouse or trackpad or trackball or anything like that, because it's either on or off.
Absolutely. Her hair, and again guys, I will add more details later on after our stream, because I want to start working on another character, what I will do, I will add a few highlights to her hair, and as you see, it's super easy.
Anthony says Jasmine's looking beautiful.
Thank
Renee
you.
says very nice.
Thank you, thank you. Renee, I know you will like it. Renee is great painter. She paints nicely Disney characters. So yeah, I know, Renee, you like it. If I made mistake, I will fix it later on. So this is my Jasmine face.
Let me see if I can get this name. Yazanari is saying Victoria Pavlov, beautiful Jasmine paint.
Thank you so much. Now I will use a very bright color for her outfit. Just like that. And to make your painting life easier, just teach yourself to release your hand periodically.
And that goes across the board. Not only just painting, even retouching any tool you're doing in Photoshop, because the longer you keep your hand down, brushing, working for like a couple minutes, and then oops, and you click undo, you not only undid the oops, but you did the last 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes worth of work. So a little bit, let go, a little bit, let go, a little bit, let go, a little bit, oops. Undo, you just undid the oops.
Yes, I do oops very often.
So whenever I'm doing a lot of brushing or working or cloning or whatever, and then I do an oops, I'm like, oh God, if I undo, it's going to undo it all.
Yeah. And when I go close to my subject sketch edges, I will bring size of my brush down. Just like that.
So the question, a couple questions, and you just can't win, Victoria. So I see a person over on YouTube asking, she's doing all that on one layer, and then when she's on Illustrator and has 1,000 layers, you're doing all those layers? So it's
yes,
just,
guys, I know,
she can't win. And again, to answer the tablet question, this is the iPad Pro 12.9 inch.
Yeah.
Not the most current generation, the one before the most current one that just came out. So last year's model.
You can use as many layers as you like, and I'm using usually I'm using a lot of layers, but as I explained just a few minutes before, because I want to blend all colors together, I use a layer, and definitely yes, I can start working on her outfit using in a separate layer, but I would like to blend my colors together. I would like to blend her outfit with her my main subject. So
so in other words, there's a reason for putting this all on one layer that will be revealed shortly. Typically we would work in layers, and we would have different things on different layers, so you can always come back and control just those layers. So just approach layers as know the reason behind why you're only working with one, or why you're working with hundreds or dozens.
And again, it's up to you. It's up to every single user, because no rules in here.
The layer police.
Yeah. Sometimes, yeah, when I'm doing a photo retouching, if I'm not working in a Lightroom, and if I'm not using my image from a Lightroom, yes, I'm very careful. I'm using separate layer on pretty much every single stage of my retouching. But when I'm working on retouching using a Lightroom, I pulled my image from Lightroom. Like Terry is always saying, I don't care if I will make mistake. I always can come back to my original image just because I have this image in my Lightroom. So it all depends. Layers, you never can say this is the rule. This is only one rule. Just like this. Remember guys, shadows and highlights are together all the time. I will increase size of my brush, and I will blend everything in better way. Again, guys, using same brush, you can create more realistic looking image, more photographically correct, I would say, image, or you can create your image in Van Gogh style. It's up to you. And in Fresco, guys, we have absolutely amazing impressionist brushes, default brushes. But if you would like, you can use your favorite Photoshop brushes in Fresco. Simply add your Photoshop brush to Creative Cloud library, open your library in Fresco, and you are ready to go.
So Mensah says, seamless transitions, I love it. And the texture is just unreal.
Yes.
Who's gonna do traditional painting after this?
I do.
She is.
I do.
She does both. I'm not, but she is.
I do. I'm strange, I know. I painted Frida in Photoshop, in Illustrator, in Fresco, and I painted traditional too. It's different. I love both equally. But if you will ask me, Victoria, you have only one way, traditional or digital. What you will choose? Digital. I love technology in general. Just like this, and let me be more quick. What I will do, I will add a few highlights. So I will change a shade of my color of my brush to lighter shade, and I will add a few highlights, because guys, highlights and shadows are always together and they create 3D dimensional object just like this.
Yep, Christy, Photoshop brushes have been supported in Fresco pretty much since day one.
Yes, you just need to open your Creative Cloud library in Fresco and you will be able to use your favorite brushes. And I have a lot of my favorite brushes in Photoshop I use in Fresco. Even you can use your new mixer brushes. So I will leave my Jasmine alone right now, and I will start working on, pronounce it right?
Aladdin.
Aladdin. And remember, guys, Fresco remembers all colors you used in opened in current document. Jasmine and Aladdin have both have a same skin tone, so I will click on first color I used in Jasmine skin, and I will start working on him. But I will create a new layer for that.
There you go, folks. You got your new layer.
Of course.
You got your Aladdin layer.
Yes. Just like that. And we can increase size of our brush. Bigger size of your brush will create less texture, so keep it in mind. And if you want less texture, don't press on your canvas too hard. And again, you can lock your layer. You can select your example part of Aladdin character I'm working on right now, but I prefer don't do this because for me selecting it's extra step. I can avoid just using my brush. Just
layer lovers, yes.
yes.
A whole new world. Oh God, don't start with the song.
I'm
gonna have the song in my head now. Stop.
What song?
Never mind. Never mind.
And I love layers. You know, guys, I'm a big fan of layers. In Photoshop and in Fresco, I have pretty much 80% of my painting workflow. More than in Fresco, I have more than 200, 300 layers. In Photoshop, I have sometimes 1,000 and more layers. So I'm a big fan of layers. I will bring size of my brush down.
Just stop, Tim. You guys are killing me with the songs.
What song?
Never mind. We're not going to go there.
And part of his shoulder. Okay, to make your life easier, you can...
So, wait, here's a question. So, is there a way to make the edges look smooth using brushes?
Yes, absolutely. First of all, I will restock my Aladdin layer behind Jasmine, just like that. And now if I don't need to be extremely cautious with his shoulder painting. Yes, to make your edges of your painting more smooth, simply bring size of your brush down, zoom in your document, and you can basically paint a pixel by a pixel. Look, you can do anything you like in Fresco. Yes, look, extremely accurate job. So make your size of your brush smaller, increase the size of your document in the way you like, you feel more comfortable, and you can create extremely surgically accurate brush strokes, just like that. Again, zoom in your document. Now, as we did with Jasmine, we need to add highlights and shadows. On his image, his character has dominating more shadows, probably because he's female. I will switch to darker shade of same color, and I will add a few I will increase size of my brush, and I will add shadows under his neck. Guys, remember, when you're zooming in your document, you will need to bring size of your brush down. When you're zooming out your document, you need to increase size of your brush. Just like that, and blend. Few brush stroke and blend everything together. If I would like to blend everything in a perfect way, I will increase size of my brush, I will zoom out my document, and I will blend my colors. Again, guys, it's my technique, it's my way. I'm just giving you some ideas. You can do anything you like. Develop your own technique, and you can do it definitely if you will spend some times on a painting, because you will discover what you like or what you don't, and you will discover your own style. Whoa.
Just more song jokes. Christian saying, if you ever want to get a song stuck in your head, just start singing a Britney Spears song. I'm not going to attempt that.
Just like that. I will zoom in my 25 minutes left.
25 minutes.
Okay, guys, you can do more accurate job. You have more time than I do. If you have more, more details in your image, definitely you will need to spend more time working on it. If you have less details in your image, you will spend less time. Keep it in mind as well. Just like that. And again, you can use different techniques, you can use different styles using same paintbrush. His face has more highlights, so I will add a few brush strokes of shadows, and we will start working on highlights. Go, guys, and download my sketch and start experimenting, start creating. It's much easier. Now I will switch to lighter shade of same color, just like that, and I will add a few highlights to our character, just like that. I know I will be not on time before our stream will end, so I will finish my painting today and I will upload on my Behance tomorrow.
And hopefully we'll see the time lapse too.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, guys. I always post time lapse. Problem with time lapse that they're short and I can't post on my YouTube, so I'm posting time lapse on my social media, on my Instagram and my Twitter.
Does it output it as a video?
Yeah.
So you can post it along with the image on Behance, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, and that's the thing. I can't imagine trying to do this with a mouse.
No, it's impossible. And I saw people painted a very nice image using finger, and they were bragging about it. And I'm always saying, yeah, definitely we can do it, but why? Why we need
a finger would actually even be easier than a mouse.
Yeah, but
a mouse would be like the lowest common denominator. Well, trackpad would be the lowest, worst way to do it. Mouse second worst, finger third.
I don't have the biggest fingers in the world, but it's difficult for me to paint using
I'd have to zoom in a lot.
Yeah, and still, even if you will zoom in, you will not have a pressure sensitivity in all like this. So what I will do, I will start working on his outfit.
I tell the story all the time. I've had tablets for years and years and years. And I really wasn't using them. Like companies would send me tablets and I'd have them just sitting on my desk as decoration. And I was even doing my photo retouching in Photoshop with my trackpad on my laptop. And then one day I just decided I tried the tablet a few times and it never clicked. And then one day I just said, I got to retouch this photo. I'm going to go ahead and do it on the tablet since I've got it sitting here. And whatever happened that day that was different than any other day, it clicked, and I never wanted to do it again, not doing it on a tablet. It was just the way to go.
Yeah. I cannot imagine my life without tablet. I will increase size of my brush and look, guys, pay attention to edges between his waist and his chest, his shoulder. Look how Fresco blends everything together like real traditional oil painting. Same. If you paint it traditionally using oil paint, you will understand what I'm talking about. It's like traditional painting. Look at this. All colors are blended together in a perfect way. This is how I want it. That's why I'm not using separate layer for each detail on some specific character, because I want to blend everything. I want to experience like real traditional painting, even if I'm using a digital. And I love digital painting in a way, you know how much I love it.
No, not at all. You don't like digital painting at all. I don't even think you know how to paint.
Oh, guys. So what I'm doing, I will increase size of my brush and I will add a few shadows. And guys, we are working on his waist. His waist has a different shades, different colors, reflects from surrounded areas, and maybe it's material like that, I don't know. So I will add a few different colors just in a second. What I'm doing right now, I'm just trying to create 3D dimensional vest like it's supposed to be. just like that. And around here. And again, pressure sensitivity is your friend. Don't forget about this. Now I will use a little bit red color to add a few splashes of a red color. I will increase size of my brush just like that. I will switch to previously used a color for his vest, and I will blend everything together just like that. In traditional painting, we will mix palette on canvas or on canvas on palette. Art palette. Traditionally, digital, we can blend everything on canvas, and I love it a lot. So darker shade, a few more. And look at his vest. And around here, this part of his vest will be darkest part in his vest because it's behind his body, behind his torso. It will be darkest part in his vest outfit. Bringing size of my brush down will help me to outline here.
And that's got to make things a little easier than traditional painting. Just the fact that A, you can work on layers and paint behind things, and B, you have undo.
Absolutely.
How do you undo on your canvas? Paint over it.
Don't ask. Sometimes when I'm working on traditional painting, I'm catching myself on thoughts, oh, I can undo it. Where is my undo tool? When is my eraser? How can I crop my image or resize it? And I always catching myself, Victoria, you are working on traditional painting. You cannot do this.
And Yazanari is asking a question. I have my answer, but he's asking you specifically. For some reason now, I've been wondering if the iPad can be considered an additional professional tool.
Oh,
and
yes.
Should you invest? She
Yes,
said
yes.
before.
Yes, yes, yes. Absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. First of all, if you're professional painter, if you're traditional painter, professional traditional painter, definitely you're working with Illustrator or Photoshop. Your iPad will bring completely different story to your creativity. It will bring to higher level. First of all, you can start working on your project from anywhere. Also on iPad, Adobe has a few amazing applications. When example in Capture, you can create shape and bring shape in Photoshop or in Fresco, you know, right, guys? With latest updates, we have option to use shapes in Fresco, default shapes, or we can create in Capture and bring in Fresco. You can create new brushes using Adobe Capture. Using Fresco, you can start working on your project in Fresco, finish in Photoshop. It's completely different, a better world, I will say. So my answer is definitely.
Definitely. Not just a little.
No. Definitely yes, yes, and yes. It's completely different world. Completely. It's something, wow. And Fresco, guys, Fresco is pure gold. I love Fresco. With the latest update, oh my god, everything what I wished. My mixer brush tool, oh my god. Besides that, we have new brushes. We have new shapes. We can choose multiple colors and use multiple colors in one brush stroke with latest Fresco update. So guys, it's amazing. Really is. I will bring size of my brush down. And in Fresco, you can use raster brushes, live brushes, which are oil and watercolors. Oil we are using right now. My pleasure. And also you can use vector brushes. Vector brushes are amazing brushes. So guys, a lot of possibilities, a lot of amazing things you can create with a Fresco. And don't forget about time lapse. Same, I will use a color, a darker shade of blue color for his hair. I love Magic Keyboard. I love it. I love it. Easy to use, very helpful with all shortcuts and everything, and it's amazing. It's must to have, I will say. Again, guys, you can preserve original sketch details, or you can add more details or less details. It's up to you. And again, look at the edges. Fresco blends it like a real oil paintbrush. Look at this. It's amazing. Kyle Webster, thank you. I will make my size of my brush smaller just in a second, and I will add more details to his hair.
So here's a good question from Mensa is asking, can you speak to how and when you use vector brushes versus pixel? Like when do you decide?
Definitely. Vector brushes, if I would like to create something for print, I'm using vector brushes. Also, vector brushes has different feeling. Even if I'm using oil brush right now, I will add later on by the end a few details using vector brush. Example, their eyebrows, eyelashes. To create smooth and clean a line, I will be using vector brushes. And I will use them later on, even in this painting. And now, guys, I will show to you in Fresco. We have absolutely amazing feature. I will create a new empty layer. I will switch to a vector brush, just like that. Any vector brush will work. I will use a red color for a better preview for you. Let me hide all other layers, just like that. I'm on new layer, and which layer is visible right now? This one. Yes, let's create new one. And example, I'm working on my painting. Let's increase it, just like this. I'm creating some kind of I don't know, pattern, just like that. And now I decided that I love everything, but you can see I have sticking out lines. I don't like them. I want clean shape with cross lines. How can I fix it? I'm still using my vector brush. I will click on modifier, and I will move my modifier to the right, to the left, edge. To the edge. That's so right. You can see my modifier is white right now, and I will say, you know, I don't need this.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I don't need any of these parts in my painting. So please just clean up my shape, make it more clean.
I did not know that.
Yes, if I made mistake, I will simply undo it, just like this. And voila, it's new. Now, before we will end our stream, I would like to show to you another my favorite features in Fresco, new Fresco. Let me bring back visibility of my layers. It's so far what we have. I will click on eyedropper tool, and now by default, if you will, I will bring it here. You will see that my top icon is highlighted. That means if this icon is highlighted, I can pick only one color from my image. So red or dark blue. If I would like to use multiple colors, I will click on this icon, and look, my eyedropper tool will pick multiple colors out of my image. Look at this, just like that. I will switch to my brush. Most of pixel or live brushes will work. Vector brushes are not working in this way. So I will click on a soft round opacity brush. I will increase the size of my brush and I will paint. Look at this.
And Mensa, if you keep it up with those songs, you're going to be banned from the rest of the stream. But
So,
I appreciate the laughs. Thanks.
oh, I deleted my LED. Let undo it. I painted on top of him. I'm sorry. So now I will delete my other layers. I don't need them anymore. Bring visibility of my sketch layers back, just like that. And we will continue working on our project. What we will do, we will add a few colors to his eyes because we are working on Disney / anime painting. And this is another example. If I would like to create clean eyes, clean line in his eyes, I will switch to vector brush, any vector brush I like. I will bring size of my brush down and I will add a clean line, just like that.
So that's another good way to say when you would use vector is when you don't need the texture. Like when
Yes.
you just need something smooth and vector and infinitely scalable and all those factors.
Yes, and keep in mind that if you will working using if you have been working using a vector raster brushes and you will switch to vector brushes, Fresco will create automatically vector layer for you. When you will switch back to raster brush, vector will switch back to a raster layer. So keep it in mind. So basically you can't blend. Keep it in mind. Now I will blend. It is just like that. He has dark color eyes, so I will switch to darker shade of brown and I will add few colors and I will blend these colors together because I want I prefer to have kind of different colors in humans, purple, right? People, because we have different colors, different shades of multiple colors, just like that. And now definitely I would like to add a few highlights, so I will switch to lighter shade of same color and I will add a few highlights. No. Just like that, and few splashes of light will never hurt. Actually, if you're a photographer, you will appreciate it. Just like that, and black color for eyelashes. Darker, bigger size of your brush. Again, guys, I will be not able to finish this painting live because we have a lot of details in this painting, but stay tuned. I will finish this painting and post on my Behance, and go again download this sketch from my Patreon and create something. Look at this, like real oil painting. It's like therapy, mental therapy, relaxing therapy.
And Mensah saying he's surprised he doesn't use a canvas texture in the background layer.
I'm not working on background on base layer. No, I don't, because this oil paintbrush gives me all texture I like. I don't want my texture dominate over my characters. That's why. I will bring size of my brush down again.
Yeah, you typically stick with like a solid color in the background or something very subtle.
Yeah. Sometimes in many cases I'm using watercolor brushes for my background. Again, with Fresco and even in Photoshop, you don't have to stuck with a paintbrush or using one size of your brush or one setting of your brush. Switch, make your art more interesting. Let's see, he has a darker shade. Just like, oh, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. Let me undo it. Brush size down. It's around his teeth. He has big, nice smile. Let's bring his smile to life. Bigger size of your brush will help. And again, guys, oil painting, oil brushes in Fresco are very powerful brushes.
So Brian, yes, she is using the new Magic Keyboard on the iPad Pro, and she'll answer the question of, do you find it stable when you touch the screen with the stylus?
Yes. If you... Okay.
I have one too. It's very stiff, so it's not like you're gonna easily knock it over or tilt it or anything. Like, I'm shocked at how rigid it is.
But if you will use full force, definitely you will.
And that's why you're kind of holding the side so you can press harder. Yeah.
Because I'm pressing hard right now. When I'm blending colors, I'm not pressing.
It's just so weird to finally see the iPad have mouse and trackpad support. So the Magic Keyboard is the first keyboard for an iPad that has an actual trackpad built in.
I love it, guys. Blend everything. Switch to other color and add a little bit more.
And Reverb Mike says, I still prefer an actual brush, and that's why Victoria does both digital and traditional.
Yep.
She likes a traditional brush as well.
More messy.
More messy. But I think you're more satisfied when you see your canvas with real paint on it. Especially acrylics, your favorite.
No, watercolors.
Watercolors your favorite, then acrylics, okay.
And oils. After that, acrylics. I don't use acrylics very often. I'm sorry.
All right, we got 43 seconds.
Okay, guys, I will finish later on. Any questions before we will say bye for today?
And I want to thank you guys for being with us this morning through these difficult times. And I am actually pleased to announce that Adobe has decided to end the streaming for the rest of the day. So I'm just going to pop up a statement here and take us out. So Adobe joins those speaking out against social injustice and intolerance. We will continue to support, elevate, and amplify diverse voices through our community of employees, creatives, customers, and partners. Racism, inequality, and hate are against everything we stand for. Today and every day, we stand together with the Black community. Thank you, everyone.